Breaking news today. Ukraine needs more guidance from NATO on how to join the alliance. The share button located at the article's top or side provides access to useful sharing tools. The FT.com Terms of Service and Copyright Policy prohibit copying articles for the purpose of sharing them with others. To acquire further rights, please contact licensing at FT.com. With the gift article service, subscribers can send out 10 or 20 articles per month to their friends and family. The link for further reading is. The author has served as the UK's National Security Advisor and as the chairman of Rothschild & Co.'s Geopolitical Advisory. The goals of the NATO summit that took place last week were to 1. Strengthen the alliance's military capabilities, 2. Increase support for Ukraine, and 3. Strengthen ties with Pacific allies in the face of the common challenge posed by China. Were you pleased with the results? Russia's invasion of Ukraine has, ironically, bolstered the alliance. Allies have reaffirmed their commitment to spending at least 2% of GDP on defense. Both the, still fragile, rapprochement with Turkish President Erdogan and the accession of Finland and Sweden, two significant military powers, and EU members, will strengthen NATO's northern axis. As National Security Advisor, I was frequently pressed to identify the greatest danger facing the country at the time. My standard response was to hedge. We have to play the hand that's been dealt to us, to use a sports metaphor. Putin's Russia is the primary security concern today. Yesterday, state failure was the root cause of terrorism and trafficking. As climate change opens Arctic waters and brings NATO and China into proximity in the high north, it is clear that China will be tomorrow's inevitable challenge. Next steps? What happened to the Russian state after Putin? An AI that can't be managed? Africa's resource conflicts? All of these, and even more that we can't even imagine, are possible. NATO and the Western Alliance as a whole need to be prepared for any eventuality. To ensure that rising defense expenditure is invested in real capabilities rather than eye-catching prestige or nostalgia programs, alliance members must invest in their defense industries so that production of equipment and ordnance can be surged in the event of a crisis. The share button located at the article's top or side provides access to useful sharing tools. The FT.com Terms of Service and Copyright Policy prohibit copying articles for the purpose of sharing them with others. To acquire further rights, please contact licensing at ft.com. With the gift article service, subscribers can send out 10 or 20 articles per month to their friends and family. The nuclear doctrine of NATO needs updating as well, sending a message to Russia that they will be met with force not only in NATO territory but anywhere nuclear weapons are used. Scary as nuclear deterrence may be, it pales in comparison to the prospect of an isolated, desperate autocrat misjudging our resolve and accidentally setting off a nuclear explosion. Russia's invasion of Ukraine also taught us a valuable lesson about the importance of NATO's presence beyond the Euro-Atlantic region. Competition for raw materials crucial to the green transition and modern economy is already having a geopolitical impact, as are climate change, the technological revolution, aging populations, migration, the resurgence of the petrodollar, and the rise of alternative currencies. Many nations are rediscovering the benefits of maintaining neutrality. Therefore, it is important that we reinvest in our ties to countries like Brazil, India, South Africa, and the Gulf. Even though many nations are wary of their aggressive neighbors and few back Putin's invasion, many are also critical of Western arrogance and double standards. Our long-lost allies are thrilled by China's investment and insatiable demand for their raw materials. Political investment in long-term, stable relationships could pave the way for greater private Western investment in developing countries. The positive, albeit still tentative, steps taken by Washington and Beijing to stabilize their relationship will have a better chance of lasting if they are supported by a unified front from the United States, European and Pacific allies. The conference in Vilnius was a positive development in this direction. Concerning Ukraine, however, the summit fell short. Given the G7 pledges of support, diplomats will likely argue that the summit could have been seen as a positive development rather than a negative one if Ukrainian expectations had been better managed in the face of American and German caution over the roadmap to NATO membership. Putin, still smarting from the Wagner mutiny's public humiliation, will see an opening in NATO's disagreements over this and skepticism of Ukraine's gratitude rather than feeling the screw tighten. Even after the kerfuffle in Afghanistan, President Biden's promise of strategic patience won't bother him much. He hopes to force Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to negotiate as well as fight if his forces are successful in digging in and stopping the counteroffensive. The share button located at the article's top or side provides access to useful sharing tools. The FT.com Terms of Service and Copyright Policy prohibit copying articles for the purpose of sharing them with others. To acquire further rights, please contact licensing at ft.com. With the gift article service, subscribers can send out 10 or 20 articles per month to their friends and family. The fact that some Republicans in the United States are already planning to reduce aid to Ukraine gives Putin reason for optimism that the upcoming 2024 election will produce a president willing to concede territory in exchange for peace. However, President Zelensky will not give up any Ukrainian territory after the country fought so hard for its independence. Additionally, Putin's defiance of the September 2014 Minsk agreements between Russia and Ukraine shows that he would view any ceasefire deal as merely a tactical pause to regroup. So, after the Vilnius summit, NATO shouldn't kick back and relax. In his final year as NATO Secretary General, Jens Stoltenberg should instead secure 3 commitments for Ukraine: more weapons now to support this year's counteroffensive, long-term support for developing the advanced capabilities to repel and thus deter future Russian aggression, and that guaranteed roadmap to NATO membership. How the Western Alliance responds to the challenges of climate change, the technological revolution, aging populations, migration, and the retreat from globalization will determine how other countries align themselves in this age of strategic competition and ultimately, who writes the history of the 21st century. It's a time of great change.